oh, who do I get to play with this weekend? And you see a name like Dirty Mike and the Janitors. I was like, who the fuck are these people? On today's episode of Mom at a Bar podcast, we have Connor Ettmeuller. He is a bar back. They are literally the backbone of any bar that you could ever go to. But not only was he a bar back at Sky Bar, he was also the creator of a band called Dirty Mike and the Janitors. So think about all of the crazy stories you could have as a member of a band and a bar back. So please stick around and enjoy his amazing stories. As a DJ at Sky Bar, it's always really, really nice to kind of see new bands come through. And so usually when I get my schedule and I'm looking at, oh, who do I get to play with this weekend? And you see a name like Dirty Mike and the Janitors, I was like, who the fuck are these people? Like, what are they gonna like jump out of a garbage can? Are they gonna smell bad? Like, I don't understand this. And like, lo and behold, you guys were like my favorite band. You guys played stuff that was just so unique and so fun. I think that was probably the best experience I ever had with a new band.
Oh my gosh, that's really nice of you to say. I mean, we loved it. I say all the time that was probably my favorite night of college ever, was being up on the stage there with my buddies and performing. And you know, we didn't jump out of a garbage can, but you remember we had the Dickies jumpsuits on,
jumpsuits,
and we wore them the whole time.
Did you guys put stains on it? I couldn't remember.
No, we didn't. We just went to like Tractor Supply or went on Amazon and went and bought a bunch of jumpsuits and just wore them around, and that was kind of our gig.
Tell me how'd you guys start? Like, I want to know the name, how you guys came as a band. Like, it was such a fun group.
It's really unique because I feel like a lot of bands, they kind of have a genesis of, you know, they've been friends forever and they were friends since middle school and they all played instruments and then they kind of just started playing music. And that's not really how we got started. We were all friends, but only for about a year or two. And we were all members of the Catholic Student Center. And there would be instances in little events that people could play music there. And we all knew that each other played instruments or sang or what have you. And I don't know if Sky even still does it, but back when they did like Wing Jam.
Yep, we still do that.
They still do it? Okay. Mm-hmm. Back when that was kind of really hyped up, for at least when I was a student there, it was really, really hyped up. We decided, hey, let's just go do this. Let's see if it'd be fun and see what it'd be like. And at that time, we just came up with a random name of the Janitors because we just wanted to find something funky and unique. And one of the other singer in the band, Nathan, he's like our class clown type guy. Like, he's just going to say the most random and funniest, weirdest things. And he's like, what if we're the Janitors? And we're like, sure. Yeah, we like that. Actually, that's cool. And he's like, what if we're Dirty Mike and the Janitors? What if we add that to it? Cause our drummer's name is Mike and his nickname forever, I guess, has been Dirty Mike. And we're like, Dirty Mike and the Janitors. You pretty much cannot get more unique than that. But that's how we got our start, is just randomly deciding to go play Wing Jam.
How do you guys know that you like sang or had instruments? And like, did you go recruit people, or did you guys just already, like, it was just meant to be? You're like, oh, I play drums, oh, I could play the guitar, or I could sing.
We knew that. So because we were all in the Catholic Student Center, we participated in events for that organization. Sometimes it'd be like retreat. We had a huge retreat that we would go on. It was called Ponte Vino. It was like the coolest, most amazing retreat and experience I've ever been a part of. And when I first got on the retreat team, they put me on the music team. And our guitarist, Evan, was also on the music team at the time. So we knew that the two of us, we could both sing, and Evan could at least play guitar. He's utterly phenomenal. Oh my gosh, he's one of the best guitar players I've ever seen in my life. So we knew that the two of us were, you know, musically inclined. And then the next year, I was still on the music team for the retreat team, and then Nathan came in because some people left to, you know, they graduated and they couldn't be a part of the team anymore. So Nathan came in, and he said that he could sing as well, and he could play a little bit of guitar. And I'm kind of the same way. He and I are, like, we can play it, but we're not really that good at it.
Yeah.
But so we figured out that he could sing too. So there was at least three of us that we knew that could
participate in a band.
Mm-hmm. And then Mike came in too, and we found out that he was a drummer. And so that's already 4 of us that we found out, oh, we've got, some legitimate prospects here. And then our bassist, Dan, I think that was more of just, I found out via word of mouth. And I think Mike actually has known Dan for a long time. And so he knew that he could play an instrument. So when we were figuring out what we could do for Wing Jam, it was like, let's get Dan to play bass. And this could be our band right here, these 5 of us. And we just signed up. All our friends came. I think we won the People's Choice Award and then the 3rd place award. And we were like, guys, we got to keep doing this. Like, we have to keep doing this because it was so much fun. And all of our friends had such a great time. We were like, we got to keep doing this. This is a blast.
What's your favorite song that you guys played together?
Ooh, couple. Sweet Emotion was a blast because that was when we let the rhythm section go wild. And the first time we ever played it for a show, Nathan just hops on the microphone and he goes, the rhythm section is about to commit a felony. And then we walk off the stage and they went nuts. And they were so good at it with just the way that they played their instruments. It was like I was listening to Aerosmith almost. I mean, it was so good. For some reason, it was like they just pumped up a bunch of adrenaline before that show and they didn't miss a single note. And we were just wowed. Even though we had heard it so many times in practice, we were just floored by it. And I think a bunch of our buddies that stayed for our 3rd little set at Sky, they were like, play Sweet Emotion again. And we were like, all right, fine. We're exhausted, but sure, let's go. And so that was one of our favorites. We played Halfway Up by The Brook and the Bluff. That was my favorite to sing. That and Tennessee Whiskey were my favorites. And I love to sing Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee Whiskey is definitely a favorite. How did you figure out that like you could actually sing and carry a tune?
I've been singing like my whole life. My mom is a really, really good singer. She's really good. And we'd hear her sing all the time. And every time we go to church as a family, she'd be the only one in the family singing and just, belting her lungs out. And
were you in the church choir as well?
When I was in high school, we did like a men's choir for like 1 year, and that was about it. But I did theater in high school too. So I knew I could sing a little bit when I was a kid because of my mom, and she kind of gave me that gift. So thank you, Mama. But I was in theater for I think 4 different plays when I was in high school, and that was kind of where I was like, oh, I can actually do this.
Was it musical theater or just
strict? Yeah, it was musical theater. So we did the first one I was ever in was The Little Mermaid. I know we did Beauty and the Beast, and then I had the male lead in Legally Blonde for my high school.
Nice.
That was fun. That's kind of when I was like, oh, I can do this. And I've always said I'm one that's very big on like self-deprecating humor and everything, but I've always said singing is the one thing in this world I know I'm good at. That's the one thing in the world I know I'm good at is singing.
And you are actually very good at it. I mean, like, listening to you sing it during your time with the janitors was one thing, but then you also came to karaoke.
Yeah.
And at that point, I could hear your voice just kind of solo. And what's the song that you love doing? Rihanna.
Stay by Rihanna.
Yes, Stay by Rihanna. And you kill it every single time.
Thank you.
How did you know that, like, do you just sing in like the car or in the shower and you're like, this is a song that I know I can kill?
The car. I if I'm going home, like, and I'm on I-85 going to Atlanta, I will scream whatever song comes on. I'll just play around with it. I'll like 1 second it'd be like a rock song. Like even so much as like Greta Van Fleet, where it's like, oh my God, I can never hit those notes, but I'll try and just try and expand my vocal range. And then I'll do something like slow and chill, like a John Mayer type thing. I'll just be getting every type of song in the car. And that's how I practice, I guess, is just trying to play around with different songs.
So I kind of want to do something fun,
right.
Mainly because, the last podcast that I did, it was with Trey Foshi. And he's the lead singer of Blackberry Breeze.
Oh, cool.
And we had a moment of talking about crazy things that's happened to him while he's like had a show. And he did a wedding, and their first dance was to the song Tennessee Whiskey.
Ooh.
And he could not remember how to sing the run because at that point he usually lets the crowd sing it. But because this is the first dance, he was like, oh, crap. I have no idea how to sing this part because the crowd normally sings it. So he came out with this like terrible version of it. And the groom literally like looked at him like the second the note hit.
Doing?
Yeah, it was like,
this is the note.
It's really, really bad. So because I want to give people just a a taste
God.
of your talent. Would you mind just singing that part?
Just basically the chorus.
Yeah, just the chorus.
You're as sweet as strawberry wine. You're as warm as a glass of brandy. Honey, I'll stay stoned on your love all the time.
I love it.
Thank you.
I'm so excited. I can't wait for Trey to watch that and be like, you need to learn this a little bit better for the next wedding that you have to do.
That's what in the car, right? Like the first time when Tennessee Whiskey first came out, I was like, oh my gosh, how does he do that?
What was like the most hectic thing about working as a bar back at a bar at such high volume?
Big Sky. Big Sky.
Tell them where Big Sky is at if they've never been to Sky Bar before.
Big Sky it's the big bar up on the top balcony. It's like, it's like 200 feet long, and there's like 6 bartenders. You can actually fit 7 or 8 back there, and only one bar back takes care of 8 wells, 2 import coolers, 2 domestic coolers, basically like double the amount of juices and everything, all while the ice machine is on the other side of the balcony. So like if you've ever been to Sky, you know what I'm talking about. And
there's a lot of walking.
Yeah, I have to go. If you're working
sprinting.
Yeah, literally. Texas A&M was the last weekend that I worked last fall, and just as a send off, the barback manager was like, "You're working Big Sky on Friday, and then I'll give you your favorite on Saturday." Which my favorite was Back Bar. That bar was so fun to work. But he was like, "I'm giving you Big Sky just as a big fu, basically, to as a send off." But that weekend was packed because that was the weekend that we sold out the stadium randomly. Even though we're like 3-5 or whatever. I can't remember our record.
It was Cadillacs.
Yeah, it was Cadillacs like first big home game, and it was a night game. And so when everybody came to the bar after the game, it was wall to wall, like you've seen a billion times, and like everybody else has seen a billion times. But it was wall to wall, and I had to do sprints down the back alley, down the staircase, down the back alley, and up the back staircase just to go get ice because I couldn't make it through the crowd anymore.
But, also, working in a bar, what was it like, dating for you? Was it difficult?
When I was working there, I was dating somebody, so it really wasn't that much of a concern. I would just go to work and put my head down, and I'd do my job. I'd try and get out of there as fast as I could. And
did it make her insecure at all, you working at a bar?
When it first started, I think she was a little bit nervous, but if I had a break, I would make an effort to text her or Snapchat her or something and just be like, everything's all good. And then I would like send her a text or give her a call when I got home. And a lot of times she would actually go out with her friends and she'd come see me and I'd be like, hey, what's up? And she'd just stand there for a little bit and just kind of talk to me as she could. And I didn't think there was much of a problem with it. I could see why other people would have issues with that though. Like absolutely, especially in a college town bar setting like that. I can definitely see like where people would get a little bit freaked out by that. Or conversely, like if people are single, like I could see why it's difficult to date and be single while you're working at a bar, just because like,
your hours are crazy for one.
Your hours are crazy, and it's like, oh, cool, like I can meet so many people here. Psych, you're slammed busy, and you have no time to even think about that. Like you, especially like bar backing and bartenders, like you don't have time to do that. Like security is one thing because they kind of linger around and they can meet people and talk to people and have good conversations, have fun with their job.
Okay, do you think it is a red flag if a girl comes up and hugs a security person? Like, is that a red flag for somebody?
Like, it just gives them a hug?
Yeah.
Just randomly, like a random...
Not a random hug. Like, you guys go out for a date at the bar and then you pull up to Sky Bar or something and then you see her go and give a hug to all the bouncers and stuff,
If somebody that you're dating had never mentioned those people before, I think you're like, okay, like, oh, who was that? They're like secretive about it. Like, yeah, that's the red flag. That's where that comes in. I think
I saw that on a list on either like Auburn Barstool or Auburn Chicks or something like that. Like if she hugs the bouncer, that's like a red flag or something. I was like, that's silly.
That's stupid.
You're from the Georgia area. You've gone to Athens. Like you yourself, what is like the craziest thing that has ever happened to you while drinking?
I've been racking my brain about it, and I've actually been a little bit of a fortunate soul where like not too much crazy stuff has happened to me. It's more just like how am I behaving? It's like not something bad has not happened to me. Thank God. But I just act like an idiot when I'm drunk. Like if I go get really, really drunk.
Do you get super excited or do you get sad?
Very excited, followed by very, very sad later when I get home and the day is done. But like truly nothing like insane or crazy has happened to me where I'm like, oh yeah, this is like newsworthy. It's like, I wish there was something that I could give you, but I'm like,
You're average.
I'm average.
You're average.
Unfortunately, I'm average, and
that's not unfortunate. It means you found a good balance to have a great time.
There was one funny time where I got so mad at my buddies. We were out there, and this was a long time ago. I was like, and there's some girl I thought was cute on the dance floor. I was like, oh, well, she's really cute, and my buddies were like, go talk to her, and I'm like, I just got to have a relationship like a month ago, and this was probably like 4 years ago. I'm like, I just got to have a relationship like a month ago. Like I'm chilling. I'm here to have a good time. I was just saying like, oh, she's cute. And they shoved me into her. And I'm like, I don't even know what to say at this point. Like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. Like,
Did you say, ma'am, I'm so sorry?
I looked at her, I was like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. I told my friends I thought you were cute, and then they shoved me into you. And like,
and that's how I met your mother?
Your Snapchat just to get them off my back. She's like, sure.
Hey, but those are some good wingmen because you know they had great intentions.
You know who you are too.
So having been in Auburn, what are some of like your favorite places to be in Auburn?
Ooh, whenever my parents come to town, we always go to Lucy's or the Hound for breakfast. So that's like our favorite restaurants, and some of mine as well. So those are my favorite places to go. I obviously love the golf course here. Like that's where I'll spend my weekends if I'm free on the weekend. I'm gonna go to the golf course.
If you had to plan a date, what is the perfect date night?
In Auburn, I think the perfect one is go to a nice restaurant downtown. I mean, there's the Hound, Hamilton's, or even like Mellow or something like that. Just
is this for a first date or is this for an established relation? Like established,
maybe a little bit more established. I guess like if you're planning like a first date in Auburn, maybe not quite like a nice restaurant, but just go get ice cream or popcorn or something. Just go downtown. Literally, just go downtown and go for a walk. Like it's the perfect date scene to go downtown, get something fun to eat, or go somewhere cool, and then walk around Sanford Lawn, the downtown area, and just talk.
And people watch.
Yeah, people watch too. Like, and it's so many people make the mistakes, and people have probably heard it a billion times. Like, oh, don't go to the movies on the first date. It's like, well, don't do something that you can't get to know the person with. Like, if people just like, oh, like let's go to dinner and a movie. No, don't do that. Go walk and talk with somebody, or at least be in a setting. If you're gonna go to dinner, be in a setting where you can extensively talk to somebody, and don't just stop there. Don't just pick one thing like dinner and then we're done. Like just make a concerted effort to get to know the person, I guess, like something that feels natural. And I feel like in Auburn, like you've got a golden opportunity on that beautiful Sanford Lawn right there to go and have like a nice first date. And that's the beauty of a small town is just it's nice and quiet and quaint.
What's the first date type questions you typically like to ask?
Just getting to know about like their family structure, like, oh, like, you know, how many siblings do you have? Like, where are you from? Like, what did you like to do for fun? What do you currently like to do for fun? Tell me like kind of about your background. Like, it doesn't even hurt to ask like somebody like, oh, what do you believe in? Like, what are you really passionate about? I think just basic level, getting to know somebody, a little bit about them to where you can ask them about it later, kind of expand on your knowledge of that person later on. It's like, oh, how many siblings do you have?
Find a connection somewhere.
And then the next day, it's like, oh, well, like, tell me about like your brother or your sister. Like, what do they do? Like, how, you know, are you guys close? And start to, you branch off a little bit more.
What makes somebody the most attractive to you? And that's not appearance wise, but what stands out?
I would say how willing they are to be joyful. Like, do you choose joy? If that makes any sense. And I'll kind of expand on that. Like if somebody were to go on a first date and they were very like, you could be scared on the first date, and you could be, you know, or even on the first couple of dates, you could be very scared to do it, and that's fine. But like, are you happy? Like, are you choosing to be joyful? Like, are you, you know, living in the moment of being on a date with somebody? Like, and just accepting, I'm on a date with somebody. I'm going to have a great time. I'm going to get to know this person, even if it doesn't work out. I'm going to just have a great time. I'm going to be joyful. I think that like initially, like if they're willing to reciprocate with questions and be joyful and engaged, I think that's a really cool thing. Like being single for a lot of people should be considered a gift. Like you get to meet new people, even if it's not going to work out for you. And you get to meet new people and just hey, if you're a gal, you get to go get treated to like a free dinner or something like that too, and like enjoy
Oh, wait.
it.
So are you saying that guys should have to pay for the first date?
Yes, first date, you're paying.
Okay. What if, like, I mean, what if she just, what if she offers to pay? Is that like,
If she offers to pay, I think then you compromise it. How about we split it?
have you ever had like a really bad date before?
Oh yeah, I've had one a long time ago where it was like a first date, and I would ask a question, and then they would just give literally like a 1 or 2 word answer, and then just stop, and just there's like no smile, no enthusiasm. It would just be like, yeah, and they
Ugh.
look down at the menu. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm not gonna talk to you after this date, but like nice
How do
meeting
you
you.
wait? How do you go through a date like that then? You just sit in silence and just eat your food?
If you're the dude and you ask somebody on a date, like you better be prepared to ask some questions. So just push through it, soldier on, push through it, and then when it's done, it's done. I mean, at most you're going to spend an hour eating food with somebody that's not engaging in conversation, then you never have to talk to them again. At least be a man of your word and stick with the date. Don't just get up and leave. Like that's reciprocating rudeness at that point. But just soldier on.
Really glad that you were able to come on and so glad that you could share your stories with us. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure.
Is there anything, any long lasting advice you want to give our viewers today?
I'm 25. I don't have that much real world experience. I feel like I'm inadequate to give people advice. I would just say, this is probably what could cap it all off. Live like a kid.
Live like a kid.
Live like a kid. Live like a kid. You're at the beach. Don't just sit and tan because everybody thinks if you go play in the ocean or do something fun that you're childish. Go play in the ocean. Go on an adventure. Live like a kid. Live
Be
like
happy.
Be childlike.
Yeah.
Live like a kid. Just be joyful in everything you do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.